G'day guys, welcome back to Cole's Couch Time. Hope everyone's safe, you're well, you're all looked after, all the families fit and healthy. Now, something that's hit the news this week, and it's been going on for a long time, but it's hit the news this week in my local area, is youth crime. Now there's the kids are going out and they're carrying knives and they're knifing each other. In the States, there's gun crime. The kids are carrying guns. There was a young lad not so long ago who was shot by the police. I was a 13-year-old, and he was shot carrying a gun. So the kids now are starting to. They're not starting. They're running riot. They have no respect. They have no respect for authority. They have no respect for their elders. These kids are just running riot, and they're pretty much doing what the hell they want. And the do-gooders in the world have created this. When you look back, when I was at school, if you did something wrong, you got the cane, you got the slipper, you got suspended, you got detention. You went home and told your mum and dad, I've got detention. They go, why? What did you do wrong? The kids get detention now. They go home and I've got detention, and the parents are phoning the teachers up going, what are you doing giving my child detention? It's wrong. Society's got this completely wrong. And because of my parents' generation, and generations following them have got this completely wrong. They stopped schools from disciplining children. There's all this bullshit going around. You can sit and talk to them. Sit them on a naughty fucking step and talk to them. Really? You want to sit an adolescent boy on a naughty step and talk to them? You want to sit them in a corner and talk to them? Try and tell them the error of their ways? Fuck, that ain't going to work. And it's proven it's not working. This softly approach is not working. You never had all this knife crime 40, 50 years ago. Now, I know it might sound like you're harping back to the past. It's not going to happen. Life moves on, life changes. Yeah, life does move on, life does change. However, some things shouldn't change. You've got kids sitting indoors playing computer games and they're not outside, where they should be outside playing. They should be outside enjoying the open air, but they're not. They're sitting indoors, locked in their room, playing these silly bullshit games, and the parents are letting them do it. Sometimes the parents are playing these silly bullshit games as well, rather than parenting, rather than actually being fucking parents. So with the problem now is you've got these kids that they have no respect for authority. They have no respect for teachers. They have no respect for the police. No respect for first responders. Paramedics are getting attacked. The police are getting attacked. There's a lack of respect across the board, which we've got to turn around. And I think the softly way of approaching this quite clearly doesn't work. So let's turn this around. What can we do from here on? Where can we go from moving in? I think with the kids now, if you get caught with a knife, you get caught inflicting and using that knife, inflicting pain on somebody, you get caught using that knife as a weapon, then you obviously going out intentionally, you're carrying it and you're going to intentionally use it. So therefore you want to be part of a gang. Okay, the government has got big gangs. You want to be part of a gang, the government has big gangs. It's called the military service. Put them in, whether it's the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, just put them in there. Let them be part of that big gang. Solve two problems. The military is facing a crisis where we can't recruit enough people. So, okay, fine, we catch you carrying a knife, sunshine. You're going straight in the military. You're going to go in there and you're going to do 2-3 years military service. Like, you go and do your time in a military service. A bit of, as my dad used to say, during the war, they were doing square bashing. I'm sure after a couple of weeks of marching up and down in straight lines, you're going to be fucking bored and you're going to want to say, you know what, I was stupid, I shouldn't have carried a knife. These things are going to teach you how to be a man, how to be an adult, how to behave. You can't, obviously, you're lacking the skills to do it on your own. Your parents have not given you the skills, the skill set to become a member of society. So your parents are to blame, and the parents need to be held to account as well for these little fuckers that are running around with knives, thinking it's cool, saying I'm in a gang. I listened to the radio yesterday and there was an ex-gang member phone up and he said, you need to educate us, you'll never stop knife crime, you'll never stop these kids from carrying knives. But fuck you can. If you're caught carrying a knife, you're going in the military. Full stop. I'm not going to put you in prison because that costs the taxpayer money to put you in prison, and then you're going to learn the wrong sort of skill set when you come out. You'll be another fucking problem. We'll put you in the military. If you're caught carrying a knife, we're going to put you in the military. Let's stop with this namby-pamby bullshit. You're going to go in the military. You're going to have some big PT instructor yelling at you. And if there's a war, you're going to be the first one on the front line that people are going to be shooting at. Let's have some fucking reality brought back to people. Let's bring these kids down to reality. Instead of sitting soft soap and going, oh, we need to come round and we'll talk to you and we'll point out what you're doing wrong. Too late. Once they're carrying a knife, it's too fucking late. And you want to get to them in primary school? Really? Fucking joke. They need to understand, if you do something wrong, there are consequences for what you do wrong. Now, just after I left school, back in the mid-80s, they stopped the cane. They stopped the slipper. You weren't allowed to touch these kids. So now those kids have grown up knowing if you do anything wrong, you can't fucking touch me. If I do something wrong, I can get away with it. And now they've become parents. So they've had more little shitheads that have gone through the school system knowing if I do something wrong, you can't touch me. So consequently, they can do what the fuck they want. There's no consequences to their actions. And this is all because of the do-gooders. Like the Greenie Party, who think they're doing the world a favour by saying it's against their human rights. You can't breach their human rights. What about the fucking human rights of the other kids in school that want to learn? What about their human rights? The kids that want to be educated, but they can't because little Johnny in the corner is mouthing off and being a fucking dickhead. And the teacher can't do a damn thing about it, apart from send him out to lesson. So you're giving him what he wanted, you're going to send him out to fucking lesson. He's an arsehole. What about the human rights of the people that get assaulted, that get burgled, that get robbed, the pensioners that get beat up by these little fuckheads? What about their human rights? What about the human rights of the teachers that have to put up with this shit at school? What about their human rights? What about the human rights of the police officers, of the paramedics, just trying to do their job? The paramedics are trying to save people, and these little fuckers are carrying on. What about their human rights? I think we need to look at the right people, look at who deserves to have their human rights respected and who gives up that right. If you go out and you beat up a pensioner, you have no human rights. You give that away. You murder somebody, maim somebody, interfere with kids, the list goes on. You give up your human rights and you cop whatever's coming to you. We have to turn the clock back. We've got to stop with this softly, mamby-pamby bullshit approach to these little fuckheads. You've got to start coming down on these kids harder. Teach them respect. They need to learn. If a police officer comes and gets you, comes and feels your collar because you're doing something wrong, by fuck you, you've done something wrong. And the same with a teacher. Not the parents phoning up going, what have you done? Why have you given little Johnny detention? Because little Johnny's a shithead. That's why little Johnny's got detention. The teacher hasn't given him detention just because he was wearing a loud fucking shirt in a built-up area. Let's be sensible. Let's start giving the teachers a bit more fucking respect. The parents need to understand. Respect the teachers. If the parents are showing no respect, their kids ain't going to show any respect to anybody either. This should all start with the parents. And if the parents are dumb as fuck, then the kids are going to be dumb as fuck and show no respect to anybody. It's the whole of society. You can't just look at the police and say the police have to change. And look at the school teachers and say the schools have to teach these kids respect. The kids cannot learn respect if they're not taught it. And that starts at home. If a kid does something wrong, you have to be able to install discipline in them. And that starts at a very, very early age. Now, I'm not saying go and beat the shit out of a kid with a belt, but you've got to be able to give them a whack round the ear holes now and then and say, oi, pull your head in. They need to understand there are ramifications. When you do something wrong, there are ramifications to your actions. None of this shit where we've got to sit down and talk to them and fucking point them in the right direction and educate them. They don't give a fuck. You've got an adolescent 15-year-old boy. He's not going to listen to some silly cow who's sitting there talking to him saying, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't have done this. It's not very nice. You're hurting people's feelings. Fuck off. is all he's thinking. Has no respect. You know, not so long ago, police officers, teachers, dentists, doctors, these were very sought after positions. They carried a lot of authority, a lot of respect with them. But over the years, because of the do-gooders, the people who think they're doing the world a favour, all that respect has slowly been taken away. All the authority has been taken away. It's wrong. You need to start winding the clock back. Stop these little fuckers from knife crime. Teach them respect. Let them know if they do something wrong, ramifications. And I don't mean put them in prison. That cost the taxpayer a fortune. Then they're only going to come out worse than what they went in. Put them in the military. Give them military service. Teach them how to be human beings. Teach them how to be a valued member of society, rather than a scumbag shithead that cost society a fortune, and they might go out mugging old ladies, beating up old people, robbing, throwing rocks when they're kids. Put the police back on the beat. Take them out of their flash BMWs, put them back on the beat, walk in the streets, walking around the neighbourhoods. Where's the neighbourhood copper? Start taxing, heavily taxing these bloody computer games that are stopping kids from going outside. Give tax breaks to football clubs, grassroots football clubs that encourage the kids to go out and play sports clubs. Tax breaks on sporting equipment for kids. Make them tax free. No VAT, no tax. Make these things free for kids to encourage them to go outside, encourage them to go and play. Get them outside. Get their parents involved. Parenting classes for fuckwit parents who have no clue what they're fucking doing. The parents are getting angry at teachers and moaning at teachers because the teachers are struggling to teach little Johnny because he's a fuckhead because the parents are no good. Where's their backup? Where's the help for the teachers? The parents are not helping. The parents are part of the bloody problem these days. Hold the parents accountable for little Johnny's actions. When little Johnny goes out and he does something wrong, hold the parents accountable. By fuck, they'll soon change their tune. Anyway, that's my 2 bobs worth this week. Youth crime and what the fuck to do with it, and who's to blame for it? The do-gooders of the world. Looking after the wrong person's human rights. Look after the human rights of the victim, not the perpetrator. That's the only way you're going to fix it. Only way you're going to fix it. Right. Good luck, everyone. Stay safe this week. Look after yourselves. Look after the family, the dog, the cat, the budgie, guinea pig, wife, husband, kids, and anybody else who's part of your family. I'll see you next week. You've been watching Cole's Couch Time. Thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you next week. Ta-ra for now.